Hey guys, it's Ebony back with another episode of R&B Vibes, and I have with me one half of the amazing group, LouisYork. Claude Kelly, how you
I
doing?
am better now that I'm here.
Man, you are family.
Fa-
You are
You are
family.
family, little
Yeah,
sis.
little sis, little sis. It is so good to see you, to talk to you. You have such a record as a singer, as a songwriter.
Mm,
I'm curious though, going to the beginning,
okay.
what was that pivotal moment that said, I can do this. I want to be in the music industry?
Oh, I'm one of those. Great question, because I feel like everyone has a different how I got in the business story, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, for me, embarrassingly to say, I was obsessed with the music business very early on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so for those who are too young to understand, like when you used to buy tape CDs,
Yeah.
you had album credits.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to study those when I was a kid, like in the '90s, and
Mm-hmm.
TLC's album and Usher's album, all these people. And so I used to take. I had a notebook. I would take notes
Oh
of where the
wow.
labels were, who mixed it, where the mastering was, who was the manager. And I grew up in New York City,
Mm-hmm.
so at the time, most of those buildings were in New York City. So on a Saturday, I'd get dressed up as fly as I could.
Are you
I'm talking about
serious?
12 years old. I'd get whatever the best dress was at that time, and I put my little book bag on and my little notebook, and I would just get on the train or the bus and just walk past
Oh wow.
the labels and just look up like I'm gonna be in there one day.
Were you hoping to like meet up with somebody though? Like
Yeah,
maybe cross paths with someone?
no, this is my little kid mind,
Yeah,
right?
of
In
course.
my little kid mind, I thought that the record label, everything happened in there. I thought the artist lived in
Oh
there.
wow.
I thought they were recording in there, shooting videos.
Okay,
So
look
I'm
at
like,
mine.
I'm like T-Boz and them is in there right now, and I'm saying, I said, if I could just get
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So I knew early on, even my early yearbook said Claude's gonna be in the music industry.
Mm.
I just didn't know how. So I always sang, I always played piano, all that stuff. I just didn't know what would be my thing. And when I graduated from college, I came back to New York and I stumbled into songwriting.
What do you mean stumble? You said that's a very specific
Right.
word. Yeah.
Because I feel like most songwriters know they're songwriters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you've been writing forever and you have notebooks. I didn't even know songwriting was a career until I went to Berkeley. But then really when I went out of Berkeley, I came back to New York right after 9/11,
Mm-hmm.
and the world changed. Like you just couldn't get label jobs and things like that. I majored in music business. So I was just hanging around the studios with my friends. Like you're here in the studio. I'm just in the background. Don't mind me. I'm sitting in the back just, and they were writing songs and recording. And I was in the back like, that's a terrible idea. Or if they do this.
Yeah.
And so I got the courage to speak up eventually. And they kind of were like, well, that's a good idea. Why don't you come up and do it? And you saying you can come do this. And that's how I kind of figured out that that's what I mean by. And so I didn't plan how I got in the door,
Mm.
but it was the best way for me to get in the door.
You know that all goes into God setting up your path
Every
because
day,
you never know.
never know.
I love that. So let me ask you this then: are you looking at everybody else's perspective to writing music? How did you learn your way of how to write a song? How did you learn your style?
A lot of it was doing my homework. So I grew up in a very diverse music household. I played classical music. I went to a very stuffy Episcopal church. But I grew up in New York City. Hip hop and R&B was that it was like happening.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, like it was all blowing up in New York. So I was getting classical music and church music and hip hop and R&B and pop rock and grunge and Nirvana and all this stuff. And so my thing was I just didn't believe in sacrificing any of that influence just
Yeah.
because I was a black kid that wanted to write.
Hmm.
So my style kind of became me proving people wrong. So as
Ooh,
soon as you said, "Oh, he's just a black kid, he should do R&B," I was gonna prove you wrong
I
and
love
say
it.
that I can keep that essence, but watch what I do over here for Kelly Clarkson.
Come through.
Watch what I do over here for Britney Spears. And then when you think I'm just a pop writer,
Hmm.
watch what I do over here for Fantasia.
You see, I've had an artist, singer, a songwriter here. I think it was Nisha Charles.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I interviewed her, loved her. We talked about how it's so easy, how just because of your skin complexion, you
Hmm.
get put into a category, and that's what you're going to be. You are an urban writer,
Exactly.
period.
And that was Chuck's problem too. I mean, that's why we clicked.
Yeah.
Because he was the producer. They said, well, go work with this guy for Chrisette Michelle.
Hmm.
And so in my mind, you do it. We all do it, right? You're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna go work with this guy. He must be R&B, kind of jazzy. And we sat and talked, and we started talking about uh, Billy Joel and Guns N' Roses and all this stuff, along with Whitney Houston and Quincy Jones and stuff. And I realized, oh, I'm not alone in this. There's a lot of people from our generation that just want to be.
Yeah.
And so my songwriting style is bespoke
Okay.
for who you are and what you're looking for. And I have enough tools between all the music I've studied and the music I've written now to make a song that could be country for you. It could be a little country hip hop. It could be pop rock. It could
Yeah.
be classical. And I think that the what's the word I'm looking for? The common
Denominator.
the common denominator
Yeah.
is the storytelling, the honesty, and the melody.
That's what I was going to give you. You're very good on that. You will
Yeah,
tell a story and invoke emotion. You're
emotion.
going to feel when you
Yes,
hear a track by you. Oh my gosh, because I'm every time I hear one of y'all songs, whether it's a song by Louis York or even a song you
somebody
wrote,
else.
I'm just like, am I going to cry now?
I'm sorry. I
Am I?
apologize.
Do I have tears coming up? But it's good because we don't have that anymore. We don't have a lot of
Agreed.
artists that give that emotion. And you also are so big on not just you want to. What was something you said before? I want to make my mark versus just cut a check.
Hmm.
Why do
Hmm.
you feel like it's so important to make your mark versus just cut a check for someone?
Well, money. We all love money,
We do.
and we need pay me, pay me more.
Give me my money.
Give me my money. But Chuck and I, our philosophy for LouisYork Weirdo Workshop, even moving to Nashville,
Yeah.
was putting the intention first, which is that you have to be able to reach people. It's not even a revolution if you're not moving people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned through being at the top of the mountain and the bottom of the mountain that the money really does come and go.
Mm.
And it can be heartbreaking, and we all love it, we want it, but the purpose is, like you said, to make you cry or make you think or make you fall in love or make you remember love, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. That has to be the reason why you do it every day, because if not, the business of music will make you crazy.
Yeah, I can't.
The money of music will make you
It'll make it.
crazy. The lack of money
No,
in
what
music
would drive you wild?
will drive you wild. And
Yeah.
I always say this, now, I see it. I was a songwriter first. I'm an artist now. So and I'm also a business owner. So I wear different hats. I see it from different sides. And I can confidently say right now that in the history of American music, no black artist, living or dead, has ever been paid what they're worth.
Mm.
Then that's Michael Jackson and Beyonce included.
Yeah, because that's a big thing. Is being paid what you're worth and also getting the credit you deserve.
Right.
And I feel like it's so hard to get that. I don't know whether is there a conversation? That's what I ask. Is there a conversation that's missing with labels or songwriters that they're not getting that credit? What is missing for them to get that?
Uh, the big thing is appreciation for the creative people.
Mm.
So the mistake that the music business makes is that when you make it look easy,
Mm.
then people don't respect how you make the cake, like you said earlier. So when it looks like it's really easy to do and music is everywhere for everything, then you don't respect the people that have to really think about creating it. You don't respect the people who work at the radio stations that get up early in the morning to make sure you have something to listen to on the way to work.
Yeah.
You don't respect all those jobs. It's the jobs. It sounds so cheesy, but it takes a village.
It
Really
does.
takes a
It really
village
does.
to make one song pop.
Yeah.
One song blow up, it takes hundreds of people. So I think there's a lack of respect for how hard it is to make music
Mm-hmm.
and even how hard it is to keep music going. When I see the fans online and they'll talk to us, they'll complain about, well, we want you to do this, or we watch the Stan Wars, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're mad because you didn't do this for the album. And I don't think people really understand how many people are behind the album. It's not just Cardi B.
No, they have that 11-year-old mindset you had when
Right.
this is it. This is that main person. That's it.
It's not just Cardi. It's
Yeah.
not just Chris. They're the face of it. But then there's on that level, you got hundreds of people
Yeah.
who are working hard to keep it going. And so I think we have to do a better job of keeping the value up so people know, like, now this is something we got to protect.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes a lot of time and effort to do. So there's a lack of respect for what it means to be a musician and a person in the music business. And I hate that for me
Yeah.
because you get treated crazy because they feel like, oh, you can just write another song, no big deal.
Mm.
Just do another show, no big deal. Do another album. People will say to you sometimes, the album was good. What you got next? I'm like, that album was like 4 years of my life.
That was everything for me
I
right now.
poured my heart out. Me and Chuck be in there doing homework and sometimes crying and laughing and arguing and, you know, like getting deep.
Yeah.
And then the next day they'd be like, that was cool. What you got next?
It's hard to make your passion into your career because they're looking at it just as a business standpoint. You're like, no, this is business, but this is also my heart. I
Yes.
worked into this. I cried into this. I bled into the
You
tea.
know?
And so I get it. But it also sometimes discourages other artists, new
Yeah.
artists, from actually getting into the game, knowing that there's all these different things behind it. And the
Yeah.
development of it is, oh Lord, the development of artists is very much so lost.
And you know what else?
Mhm.
And this is something I try to do every day is to remind myself to be for people what was not there for me.
Okay.
And a lot of the problem is that there's lack of mentorship. So you do well, you blow up and you do well, and it was so hard for you that you kicked the ladder down
Mm.
because now you work so hard, you don't really want to share. You don't want to be burned again. You've been hurt so bad, that you don't want to help nobody else.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've seen it, and I think a lot of even the reckoning that's happening with the music business now, which is a lot going on right now in the news,
It's a lot.
a lot going on, a lot of questionable. It's a
A lot
reckoning,
of baby oil
a
and
lot a
stuff.
lot of baby oil, a lot of that. But what it
Yeah.
comes down to is it's abusive, but it's also hazing. It's
Mm.
also crabs in a barrel. It's also taking advantage of the people you need, the songwriters and the artists that keep this alive. And you can't sustain that way. So even though some of that happened to me and some of my peers, I try not to be that to people who are asking me for help.
Mm.
So that you don't have an industry full of toxic, angry, scammy, shady,
Oh, it just repeats
inappropriate
itself.
people.
Yeah, it's gonna repeat itself. If you have somebody in that lead chair that's gonna do it to somebody, the next person, it's gonna keep going and keep going, and unfortunately get to where we are now. And it's so hard for artists to figure out, who do I want to work with?
Right,
How do I know this person is not gonna hate me
right,
or hurt me?
right.
So when it comes to you working with artists, how do you know what artists you want to work with next?
Ooh. I get bored fast,
Okay,
right? So
Gemini's,
like,
let's go.
I'm a Capricorn, and we might be right there. I'm just trying to climb I'm trying to climb the mountain and do it
Yeah,
again.
and go again. Yeah,
So I like the diversity.
yeah,
So some people are like, I just want to do this thing.
yeah,
I'm like, throw me a country artist, throw me an R&B artist. What needs to be shaken up?
yeah.
Are there black people? How are black people doing in country right now? Are we represented in rock? How's R&B feeling these days?
Okay.
So I'm always checking the temperature
Yeah.
to see what is needed as opposed to repeating what's next. And a lot of times, like Chuck will come or I'll come in on a Monday, for example. He'll be like, yo, I was doing my homework and I saw this artist online, and we'll reach out. That's how the Shandelas came about.
I was gonna ask that because they are home to Weirdo Workshop. How did they
Hmm
come out? They
It
just
was
reach
it
out.
was literally okay. So Chuck and I were in LA, and like I said about filling in the gaps of what's missing, we were
Yeah.
like, where the girl groups at? Where they at? Like it had been a long time since Destiny's Child was at the top of the charts. Obviously, they've done separate things.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, and I was like, they were such an important part of my childhood and American culture.
Yeah.
TLC and Vogue, SWV, and so I was like, let's not try and chase everything. Let's do what's different. And we, I'm talking about when I tell you we searched for 2 years,
Oh wow.
moved from LA to Nashville, still looking. And Stacy we knew,
Yeah.
she was with us. She was rolling. She was actually helped us find people. Stacy Johnson, shout out to her, of the Shandelas. But Tam,
Mm-hmm.
I saw one day on Instagram, and she was singing Santa Baby around Christmas time. And it's just that thing where people think, is anyone really looking? Yes,
They're looking.
people are looking and paying attention.
Yeah.
And I showed it to Chuck, and I was like, "What you think about this?" And he was like, "Nah, there's something there." And I just cold DM'd her, and I did it. I did it so professional because I didn't want her to think I was just trying to slide in the DM. I'm like, "Yo, girl, you got a voice. You can make it." I didn't want it to
Not
be
that
that.
look, though.
I was like,
That is the
You could be a
look.
star."
Oh my god.
I didn't want that, so
Yeah.
I was like, "Hello, we have this idea. I wonder this." I put all my
I love how
words.
professional you is.
I was like,
Yeah.
"We have this musical venture, and we'd love for you to." And she said, "I'm a big fan, and I'll come." I said, "We said come to Nashville and let us play you some music
Mm-hmm.
and explain our vision." And Chuck had met Casey, the third member, at an event 10 years earlier.
Mm.
And then she came across his Instagram. He's like, "Yo, I remember her. She was always good. I'd always put her in the back of my mind." So to the show you that social media works, he reached out to her, and they both came down here separately, got a feel of us, got a feel
Wow.
of our studio. We played them some music, and they both agreed to be in the Shandelas before they met the other ladies.
That's scary. That is a scary
It
part for
should have been a
me.
reality show.
Yeah.
We should have had cameras. If I knew then what I know now,
mm.
because I have a photo of them when they first met in our studio and sang together. And I don't know, we must have all been insane because there's so many ways that could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
It could have been it could have been baddies,
Oh
bad
Lord.
girls. It could have
Not the
been
Zeus
it could
Network.
have been Zeus. Because
Oh
I mean, think about it. Everyone has a different perspective of success
no.
and
They
music
do.
and love and friendship and just being in a room together. And they got along. You see them like
Yeah, they're beautiful.
they're
Like
sisters,
it's you won't even think that this is just a group. No, they are literally sisterhood. It's crazy.
and that all happened because of trying to do what's different and needed
Yeah.
and reaching out to people scarily through faith on Instagram.
Yeah, because I honestly didn't think we was going to get another girl group. I just didn't think that music was ever going to get there anymore because we just don't see it.
Yeah.
Girl groups, guy groups doesn't matter. When it comes to a group, they always get into the fights.
Hmm.
Always want the individuality. They just want that. This is me,
Yeah.
and then they break up, and that's it.
And it's not that. Listen, being in a group, period, or a band or a company, we know
Yeah.
that's not easy.
Nope.
Really hard. And it's what makes it harder is social media as well as the
The good and
blessing
the bad part of it.
is that you're also constantly being shown what everyone else is doing
Mm,
and how everyone's looking and how it's their success reel. So it's hard to keep an artist on track,
yeah.
on a vision, because every single time you open up, it's just targeting you to feel the FOMO and you're not good enough and all that stuff. So we purposely picked three women that were, first of all, talented and smart and creative, but had a work mentality,
Yeah.
like a showbiz professional, almost Broadway. I'm coming to work. I want to perform and sell tickets and do shows and rehearse. And that's where they get along the most, of course,
Mm,
because they share a vision, and they have all three of them have integrity. And that was you have to work with people that have integrity so that you don't get baby oil situations.
that baby oil situations.
Baby oil situation.
That is hashtag baby
Baby oil
oil situations.
situations.
Oh Lord. Well, tell me what keeps y'all together. You and
Chuck?
Chuck. How do y'all deal with it? Because I don't know. Y'all are a brotherhood, but I feel like I would fight with someone on a heartbeat.
You know what's funny? He's a very, very opinionated person, and I am too.
hmm
And in most ways, to know him is to know he'd probably fight with everybody else. We don't fight.
No.
And I don't know why that is. Besides, we have the extreme respect for each other.
Mm.
He's the best producer I've ever worked with, and I work with many
Yeah.
across the board. And he has worked with other people. I think he'd say the same. I hope he would. Or,
He
but
would.
but the truth is, every day I go in the studio with him, I'm like, now I'm going in with the best, so I should bring my best. I
Mm.
should not be in a bad mood. I should come and be professional. And when you realize that you both want the same things, it's it's a lot easier to let silly things go.
Yeah.
So when we on our podcast, we sound crazy. We had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis
Mm-hmm.
a few years
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
and they're like our idols. Like since the Jana days, it's just been this is what it is. And their advice was, you don't want to be hot or cold. You want to be lukewarm,
Mm.
meaning that like everyone wants to shoot up to the top,
Yeah.
and then that shooting up to the top creates rifts within your band. Everyone around you's crazy. He's like, you just want to be steady
Yeah.
for 40, 50 years and remind yourselves that you both want the same things and give each other some, you may not agree, but let them take the lead this time and vice versa.
Yeah.
And don't hold grudges. And we've been able to work together for now a long time, and we've never had a fight
Yeah.
like them, like
Beat
the
down kind of.
fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
We never had that fight, which I guess to some people seems boring, but because we're united front, we end up being able to break up everybody else's fights.
Well, I don't think that is a bad thing. I think it's amazing that there's a secret sauce to you guys that keep y'all
Yeah.
together. And of course, when somebody listens to a project by you all, like it's like this is it. This is their stamp. This is a mark.
Yes.
And I love how y'all are so about weirdos.
Weirdos, come
Weirdos
on.
unite.
cookie. We say the word cookie cutter a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is that, and we do it in life. Like one person takes a risk and does something crazy, and then rather than be inspired by the fact that a risk was taken,
Mm-hmm.
you just want to imitate everything they did.
Mm.
That's what cookie cutter means. It means that you weren't inspired by the boldness to try something different. You just want to imitate their way of success.
There you go.
And the weirdo part is just to it's our company's called Weirdo Workshop, and it sounds cool, Weirdo Workshop, and it's on t-shirts, but really it's a mantra, a
Mm-hmm.
personal mantra. First, to remind myself that I'm a weirdo, and
Mm-hmm.
that's okay,
It's
like you
okay.
said,
It's okay.
and that's a blessing. It's a gift. And the workshop part is that I'm not perfect. I'm working on myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you give yourself grace. You give the next person grace. That's why me and Chuck don't fight. I'm like, well, he's a weirdo too. He might just be going through a day.
Yeah.
So who am I to judge and treat him like crap when I know tomorrow might be my day?
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's important that in the music industry, where you need real opinions, real music, that you encourage people to be themselves. I still think we're not fully there yet, especially when it comes to R&B music.
We're not. We're not.
Only because and tell and you listen, you're drenched in it, right? But the way I grew up with R&B was that R&B is a music that really tells the emotions.
That's it.
And I think sometimes we're so concerned with being cool
Yeah.
and the flyest, the richest, the most ahead, that you forget that some of the best R&B songs when the mascara was running down your face
Yes. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and you were begging them not to leave, or you were saying you ain't never coming back,
You
or
you know me and Kenyon Dixon, we had a conversation about that because I was so big on that. He said he misses the arms to the sky, rain.
yes,
That's what I miss. I love that.
yes,
Like put your arm out there. Let me feel you that you
that's what
miss
I'm.
me, that you want me. But it's not cool no more. It's not cool for a
We
man
gotta
to
make
say he
that
wants his
cool.
woman back.
We gotta make it cool on both sides, because even for the ladies, like
Yeah.
the ladies used to dominate with emotion, but that's not even there the same way. Like I'm looking for the all the time that I was
Come
loving
on.
you know, like I was your secretary,
Yes.
I want that kind of
Yeah.
anger, frustration.
Yeah, I want the Kelly Price throwing the treadmill out the damn balcony anger.
That's what I'm
I want
saying.
that.
I
Yeah.
want she was a friend of mine. She
Yes.
left with my man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the the blues and the rhythm and
Mhm.
blues.
Mhm.
We got the rhythm part. We
We need the
fly, we
blues.
dance, and we're pop locking, but
Yeah.
where's the
Yeah.
blues in it? So to do that, you got to be a weirdo.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to be unafraid to say like, yo, I'm as cool, as fly as I look.
Mhm.
Like Mary's such a good example, because when I grew up, Mary was the template for all the black girls in the hood. If she
Yeah.
changed her hairstyle, everyone changed their
Everybody
hairstyle.
changed it. Yep.
If she was wearing the boots, everyone was wearing. So she was the coolest.
Mhm.
But then she was like, but don't sleep. Like I'm gonna tell you about how this dude treated me like hell,
Mm.
and how I cannot take any more drama. I'm up to here. And that means
Mhm.
you have to be okay with being vulnerable, being weird, maybe making crazy faces, doing funny dances.
That's
And
okay.
now Mary's funny dances are classics.
Yeah, it's a classic.
They're classics because she was doing those moves to express her joy, her frustration.
Mhm.
We need that.
God, I swear. Well, is there an artist that you know that you love that give you that? And new artists? I'm curious. What new artists out there in R&B that gives you a little bit of that?
Oh, I wish I had a laundry list. It's not. It's
Mm.
hard to think of. I love Duran Bernard.
Oh my gosh, that's my babe. Yes.
We did some songs on his new project,
Yeah.
but we've known him for a long time. He is unafraid.
Hmm.
He's a breath of fresh air because he is a bold, young black gay artist.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of what's been missing, the openness of that, right?
This is true.
But also just the freedom to dance, laugh, cuss you out, yearn for love,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So I think he is a breath of fresh air. Um, we did a song with Avery Wilson called "Kiss
Yes.
the Sky."
Yes, yes.
People don't even know how what he can do. They know he can sing,
Hmm.
but he's unafraid to express himself. They're dope. On the ladies' side,
That's the toughy one.
because there's a lot of competition out there,
There
right?
is, yeah.
But who am I really feeling? I don't have a runaway answer, which bothers me.
That yeah.
I want to say like, oh, obviously it's so and so, right?
Yeah.
But there's so much from that I'm missing.
I can get that. I feel when doing my doing R&B vibes, I find myself finding more of the male from the
Hmm.
men getting me that emotion, that reaction,
Yeah.
and then I get to my females. I'm like, ooh, it's gonna be a tough month.
And it used to be the other way around
You
for
said
so long.
true. Now it's switched.
It switched. So I mean, I got a couple songs in the hard drive I want people to call me for. I got a crazy joint that I want for Coco Jones.
Okay.
That's in the and a Nashville homie.
Yeah.
That's like on some knock on cry vibes. Like I just want someone who's
I'm
the
looking forward to.
moment to
So wait,
say like, yo, like I'm hurt.
yeah. So you're gonna slide at her DMs? What you gonna do? So we can get this track.
Should I slide in Coco Jones'
I
DMs? Is the
think you
question, and just say
should.
like, and try and put in that same professional voice, like, greetings, Coco.
Come on, greetings.
Salutations, my sister. Not me sound like Dr. Umar.
No, don't do that. That's Grand Rising and
Grand
Happy
Rising,
Blessing.
my
Let's,
sister.
let's not do that one.
Nah,
Let's
nah.
not do that one.
I might have Chuck slide in because he might not know what to say. But we do have songs if y'all out there for that, for just what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I want to fix it.
Okay. Well, how do people reach you? How do people get to be a part of the Weirdo Workshop? They're an artist
Yeah.
and they're out here, they're doing their thing, and they're like, I want to be under that label. I want to learn. How
Yeah.
do they do that?
There's a lot of ways. First of all, we're on the artist side.
Mhm.
We never say no to the next great thing. So we're never so busy that if you come along, you slide in our DMs, or we hear you performing live, or you reach out. If you are the truth,
Mhm.
we're gonna stop for the truth, because great music needs to be heard. So always reach out to us, the artists and songwriters. Always reach out. You just never know. We do pay attention. We do our homework, but then we're also like, there's so much of the business that
Yeah.
people need to learn. It's not all just about being an artist. It's about being a songwriter, and we need A&Rs so bad.
So bad. Oh my gosh.
Taste, real taste makers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who know music, know past music, and know where they want to go. So we're always looking for interns and for content creators, for people that want to learn the studio. We have a studio in Nashville. So we're always looking for interns. Always email us at Weirdo Workshop, info at Weirdo Workshop, and say what you're looking for. My mom always said, closed mouths don't get fed.
This is true.
No one's gonna knock on your door and say, "Hey, I heard there's a dope songwriter here. Would you like $1 million?" Like you have
That's a
to,
dream. Yeah.
right? You have to put yourself out there,
Yeah.
and we try to be fair and open minded because it benefits us because we want to be around talented people, but we also want to be responsible for, like I said, fixing the things that I think are wrong. So don't just hit us up if you're a singer. Hit us up if you're a dope producer that just has a simple question. I'll Chuck and I both individually, and I watch him do it and I do it. I'll write paragraphs
Oh wow.
on DM, even if I don't get to meet you personally.
Yeah.
If I have the time, I'll write paragraphs of advice or
That
songwriting
is
and
beautiful.
structure advice or how to fix your song, or because like I said, who was doing that for me? Not a lot of people. And then the other thing about social media that's insane is think about what it means to be a little kid in, let's say, Cleveland, Ohio, right? And you're dreaming about working with Coco Jones. And you can reach out and she might hit you back. That is a blessing.
That'd be a dream. Yeah.
I mean, I work with some of my heroes, and how I got to them was, I don't even know how that happened, but imagine if I could have DM'd Whitney Houston. I'm like, hey, yo, I think you're dope. And she responds like, I think you're dope too. Let's meet up and have lunch. And
Yeah.
don't take that for granted. Like that, you can really actually get to your stars, and
It's true.
they'll want to work with you and fly you out. You might get flued out.
Hey, it might happen.
You might get,
But I appreciate the fact that you don't gatekeep. I think that so many different artists, they deal with that. And I could tell artists, listen, we're at a workshop. You're not going to get no
Nah.
gatekeeping situation. You're going to get development, the
Yeah.
structure, and of course, the advice that is needed.
yo, the Shindellas, outside of what we impart on the Shindellas, because they're at our studio every day working, the amount of advice they got from artists that were coming by to work with us,
Yeah.
or to potentially work with us. I'm talking about when we were just developing them. Indiari, Fantasia, Lettucey, Saida Garrett, lots of writers and producers that came in and said, "Yo, I see what y'all doing here, and let me pull y'all aside and give y'all some womanly advice, some artist advice." Jill Scott, like,
Oh my gosh. the
talked
queen.
to them and said, like, stay together, work hard. The money's gonna come. Like, that's the artist development.
Yeah.
It's not just you recording songs and hoping for the best. It's the people that know better telling you how to do better, and being there as kind of like a guide, like a camp counselor. Like, because I can't tell them what to do. I don't want to tell them what to
Yeah.
do. I want to just be there if they need advice from someone who's seen a couple of things that they haven't seen yet.
Mm.
So yeah, it's my pleasure to help because I really want the music industry to thrive.
Well, listen, I know that they're thriving because of you. You guys are amazing. Y'all are dope. Y'all not only push people out there, but you push yourself out there with great music, great content.
Trying.
We got to go with this new
Let's
album.
talk about it.
I love it.
Songs with
You
friends.
know, Three Little Words with Tamia.
Yes.
Such a special project.
Yes.
How did that all come about?
All right. So COVID happened, if you haven't heard.
Of of course.
COVID happened, and Chuck and I were blessed to be able to be in the countryside in Nashville, so we could be in the studio still.
Mm-hmm.
But the big lesson was for artists, myself included, was I really missed people,
Mm.
not just texting and DMing, but when them shows dry up, when you realize that you don't have an audience to perform for,
Mm-hmm.
it humbles you. And when you realize that you can't actually be in the studio with your friends,
Mm.
you're like, okay, now I value creativity and collaboration a lot more. So when we came out of COVID and after we got ourselves together, we were like, now let's make this a duet album and let's really get in the room
Yeah.
with people who, number one, we think are the best in the business. We had a chip on our shoulder because we were like, you're kind of sleeping on us. You're also sleeping on these people in a way I don't like. To me, it's well known, but people sleep.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right.
She's one of the best singers in the business.
Yes, she
And
is.
when you see her live, there's not a lot of people that sound like that and give that kind of
It's a
show.
genuine kind of approach to music. It's not nothing that's makeup. That's not a
No,
producer that's just touching up something. No, that is her. It's
right.
authentic. Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm not saying that she needs our help and ask for our help, but I'm protective of my friends. I want you to put some respect on their name.
Mm-hmm.
So we called. No one said no. We called Layla. We
Mm-hmm.
called Tamia. We called Anthony Hamilton. We called Gramps Morgan. Of course, the Shandellas, Chris Daughtry. People that were surprised,
That
right?
threw me off. The Chris Daughtry. That threw me
That's
off.
the homie, but
I love him.
that's the homie. Of course, the American Idol homie. He got
Yeah.
many dope songs as Daughtry,
Mm-hmm.
but he's soulful
He's amazing.
and he can really sing. And I was like,
Yes.
Chris, we want to do a song, and he came to our studio.
Mm-hmm.
We filmed all this. We have this. This will be a documentary coming later, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
But for Tamia specifically, we sent her the idea, and she was like, "I love this." And
Mhm.
then she didn't come. We went to Orlando to record with her. We drove to Orlando. It's all just like just get in a car and do it.
Mhm.
And sat in the room with her for a day, and we worked it out in person, the old school way. And what you hear is a great song, but more than that, what you hear is genuine chemistry. Not
Mhm.
just you email me your part, and we'll send all of it to an engineer somewhere else, and hopefully it
Yeah.
comes together through the magic of technology.
Mhm.
There's some technology in there, but really, it's Claude, Chuck, Tamia, Claude and Chuck and PJ,
Mhm.
Claude and Chuck and Layla Hathaway in a room, laughing, eating food, drinking,
Yeah.
whatever it takes, like talking about life. And then, all right, you want to go in this booth and do this song and record. And then what you get is real love,
Yeah.
real compassion. And so I hope that's what kind of oozes through
It does.
from the song, from especially Three Little Words.
Yeah, it definitely oozes through. I think throughout the whole project. What I really appreciate though, when it comes to any song that y'all do, y'all's way of doing music videos is funny to me
Eh,
because it's like a genuine, hey, we're hanging with friends,
right.
and
Yeah.
this is a moment of y'all just walking in, hey, how you doing, and we're just singing a beautiful song as friends. There is no complexity to it.
No.
It's the simplicity of a beautiful friendship and a genuine connection when it comes to music.
That was on purpose.
Yeah.
That was on purpose. I'm telling you, like Chuck and I spend most of our time debating what we think is wrong.
Mm.
And we have spent so much money over the years, us and the music business, on music videos, right?
Mm.
Trying to be your favorite movie star, trying to be your favorite action hero, trying to be an animated figure, like
Not
all
an
kind of,
animated
like,
figure.
all the kind of. And I'm not. And there's some fantastic videos. We have a couple that I really love,
Yeah.
but everything but the main event, which is that, hi, I'm good at music. I'd love for you to come to my show and buy my music.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, this time we're not gonna pretend we're in Scarface
Mm-hmm.
and get a whole set and spend too much money. We're not gonna paint ourselves blue and be Avatar.
Oh my God, that's something.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's something.
Because it'll be like this simple love song, but then everyone is in a spaceship. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's cool that we can afford to do that, but let's actually
Let's switch it up.
get to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
So, in honor of Nashville and just the creative process and what it really was to make the album, we stripped it back and wanted people to see just what you said. And the inspiration was, I remember seeing videos like One Sweet Day.
Mm.
And it was just Mariah and Boyz II Men in the studio.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And in the 90s, even outside of that, I remember seeing music videos in general, and it always felt like it probably wasn't real, but it always felt like people were just getting together and having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, I
Like there's
agree.
just cameos in the video. There's a
It
barbecue
makes
and
you think that they actually are hanging out and they're the best of
that's
friends or
and now
something.
we know that probably wasn't true.
No, 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 no.
But maybe this time we can make it real, right? So
Yeah.
I just want people to see us just with our people and maybe see Tamia in a new light. Maybe see her just hanging in the studio with her friends and see that she's also just down to earth as well.
Yeah, because we put people on pedestals and we think that these artists are just like, oh, these are but in reality, they're
They're
people.
people.
And they're
They like
cool.
Chinese food.
Yeah. You like Chinese food?
I love China. Are you kidding me?
See, you.
I like fried rice is my weakness.
That's prob- that's me too. But you know, like you are a genuine person. You are a nice person. You're just a down to home earth kind of person.
Exactly. And that part we wanted people to get is that these are love songs that are classic, but also they were made like with love
Yeah.
in in the kitchen.
Hey, listen, and it was cooked well,
Cooked
okay?
well,
It was cooked very well,
seasoned.
seasoned well.
Right.
I love every song. I had to give you nod to Tamia, of course, Jessie J,
Yeah, yeah.
and Chris Daughtry. That one is my heart. I love me some Chris
I
Daughtry.
love that people are loving that one because you're like, are people gonna we're gonna go a little left here? Are people gonna follow us down
It's
this road?
it's so impactful because his voice, like I'm a fan of Daughtry,
Yeah.
and growing up, in my alternative rock days,
Listen,
that was he was it.
I'm still in them.
He was
I'm
it.
going home.
Oh my god.
See what I'm saying? Like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's my jam. So when I hear his song or his voice on a song or a track, I'm just immediately just I gotta get it. I gotta
Yeah.
learn more about it. So I cannot wait to play it. I know we're gonna
Please
play it,
play
of course. But tell me, what is next for you guys? You got this project you just released,
Mhm.
or do we got more coming out, another tour or something?
I love that you asked that because there's always so much
So
more.
much more.
We normally spread ourselves too thin. We're not doing
Mm-hmm.
it this time. We are planning to tour this album internationally starting in the top of 2025.
Woo.
So we're kind of getting our ducks in a row between now and the end of the year,
Mm-hmm.
as well as recording new music. Because the part that we didn't say when we put it out is that Songs with Friends isn't just a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
We set it up to be a series. So
Oh.
of course we have more friends.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there will be Songs with Friends 2 and 3 and 4, right?
Okay.
So we'll be recording more while we travel.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to get to the people. Like the whole thing wasn't just to do an album and then sit at home and then hope that people online praise us.
Yeah.
That's not even realistic. We want to be in people's faces, having a sweaty good time and getting it in so they can feel the music. We've been already doing that throughout so with the song with Anthony Hamilton along with that,
Yes, I
which
love
is
that one.
another favorite.
Yeah.
He's been so dope because he was like, yo, not only is this song special, but people need to hear it. So anytime you want to jump on the road with me and do it, please come. And he's been on tour all year.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've performed that song live with him at least 10 times. Atlanta, uh, Texas, Houston. I mean, all over in front of sold out crowds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you know that the music really works. So we wanted to take that and just be in front of people for real.
Well, I hope that y'all gonna be recording. We sound crazy how y'all do this because we need both to be going on at the same time or something.
Yeah. 100% because
100%.
we have our section. We are the official backstage pass.
Yes, come on, come on.
So if we can shed light on what's going on backstage at an Anthony Hamilton concert or Tamia, because she's on the road with Joe right now.
Yeah, my husband. Yeah.
I've never met Joe.
Really?
I don't think Chuck or I have ever met Joe, and he's one of my favorite R&B artists.
Well, you're gonna be at the show in Nashville.
I will be at the show in Nashville.
So you're gonna meet him then.
I'll finally meet him because he is one of the coldest things. By the way, him and Tamia as a tour is so good.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's true R&B. It's a beautiful R&B collab, and it feels. It's just never feelings.
Feels.
Yeah.
So you'll be there. We'll be there.
Oh yeah, I'm planning. I told Kenny, listen, I just want to hold and hug Joe for a very long time. That's it. That's all I want to do. I just want to hug her for a long
Joe's
time.
gonna be like, Kenny, can you get this lady off of me?
Probably.
She won't let go.
She won't let go. I'm like, no, I'm home now. This is where I want to be.
What's your favorite Joe song?
Oh my gosh, I think that there really isn't a bad Joe song. That's the problem. But Jeep was one of my favorite ones.
Oh.
There's another song about what's the title? My brain wants to say you dropped your dime. I can't think of what the title is, but one day, this is what I do in music. I don't know why. I find an artist and I listen to their entire catalog. I listen
love
to the
that.
whole thing. And Joe, specifically him, there is not a bad track.
Nope.
He doesn't have a bad song, a bad, poorly written something. And when he puts it out there, it's in a way that's, listen, you're in the song.
Yeah.
You are in the song. So I don't know how he knows he has 15,000 wives, but he does. And I don't know how he handles them because he puts the women in his music. You feel like you're
No.
going through it with him.
No. He is a real crooner, and he
Yes.
writes.
Yeah.
So he is the standard.
And I'm not gonna lie, his version of Adele's song was "Hello,
Hello.
Hello."
Hello.
Come on,
I'm like,
hello,
hello.
Listen, Adele
Hi.
killed it, but hello, Joe. Okay,
Hello, Joe.
he did his thing.
Exactly.
So I can't wait to meet him. I know you're gonna meet him when he
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
to
we-
Nashville.
hopefully, we'll figure out how to get him on a because on We Sound Crazy.
Yeah.
We have got a million questions for him, and maybe
Mm.
hopefully collab one day because that's a voice right
That's
there.
a voice. Now we sound crazy. Gotta give y'all's credit. Y'all have done an incredible job here at the station and just together as a group. Y'all really do give a backstage pass to the industry. So if people are not tuned in, you better get tuned in.
Well, thanks to y'all. I'm keeping it real. Like it was Phil's idea
Yeah.
to do a podcast because those were our real conversations. Like we'd get together and Chinese food.
Chinese food.
Always Chinese food, right? Fried rice and wine or whatever. And
Yeah.
we'd be debating the industry and talking about stuff. And of course, we will call our friends and he'll call like Coco. I'm here with Claude and Chuck, and we saying that Mariah Carey so and so is better than Whitney Houston. What you think?
What you think?
And then she was like, nah, y'all tripping. And then he was like, yo, people should hear this. And so we started doing it that way. And it started off at our studio, kind of just like, this will be fun. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
And as it picked up.
You picked up. It did.
And then we didn't really know where to go next. And then shout out Kenny Smooth,
Mm.
because he was like, this is exactly what we need here in Nashville. And what I love about it, especially here in Nashville, is that you all know that a lot of people come through Nashville, especially Black artists, R&B artists, hip hop artists. But I don't think the world knows exactly. When we say Nashville's not just country music and it's more than that,
Yeah.
like a lot of Black music is happening right here.
Happening here.
We don't have to necessarily, we're not paying people to come to Nashville to be on the podcast or to be on 92Q.
Mm-hmm.
The tours are coming through. They're recording in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing press in Nashville. So the fact that we're able to be on 92Q, which is like the headquarters for all things cultural, in my
This is
opinion,
true.
in
You're
Nashville,
right. You're right.
was because of y'all. I mean, it was a small dream that's turned to something that's now on the radio, and people are loving it and loving the different segments, and the conversations are getting crazier.
Mm.
And it takes community to believe. And so you, Sean Good, crazy Kenny Smooth,
Of course.
took a chance. It really took a chance on us, and I don't take that for granted. I know Chuck does. I know Timon doesn't. I know Phil doesn't, because the mentorship part is that we don't give ourselves a chance enough.
Yeah.
And so I don't take that for granted. So we work hard to keep it fresh and keep it growing,
Yeah.
and hopefully we can stay at 92Q.
I mean,
Hopefully you'll keep us around.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think that as a listener of the music and as a listener of course, the podcast, I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all for not gatekeeping. I appreciate y'all for putting out authentic, real, just homegrown music, and of course, giving us the insight that we need as we are pursuing music, as we understanding music, and as we wanted to know that there's more to the game outside of just a TikTok artist and that's it.
There's more to it, folks.
There's more to it. There's more to it.
Although don't say, I love TikTok.
It'll tell you some people, and it'll give you some folks.
I what TikTok reminds me of?
Mm.
The way it moves fast,
Yeah.
and like you can get anything. It reminds me of the early MTV days.
Oh, yeah,
Where it's
yeah.
like you just didn't know it could be a crazy commercial or a short song and you just learned things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's humbled me a lot, because the gatekeeping you speak of,
Mm-hmm.
the music industry is also bad about that. Like it's like we say who's good, and if you're not good, then you can't be seen. And what I learned just by watching TikTok, and I probably spend too much time watching TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
is I'm just blown away by how talented people are.
Yeah.
You forget that, like, you'll just be some soccer mom, and she can really dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or just some dude ain't got no teeth that sit on the corner, and chances are we walk past and you might ignore
Oh,
him.
he got no teeth.
He ain't got no teeth. And you're like, what's he about to do? And he just be sounding like Luther.
Yeah, but it's because people didn't have that chance or didn't know an outlet beforehand. So this is giving them that,
I love that.
and that is an opportunity. So there's always a good and bad side to everything.
No, but then I hop off. I'm like, nah, like, I got to be on my game because there's talented people out here that are looking for work,
And there's that,
or the talented people that could take your spot.
Yeah.
So you remember that the world is big and everyone is gifted. People be up there sometimes the skits and the camera work and the editing and the lights. I'm like, there's a whole industry of people out here who are just looking for a shot.
Yeah.
So TikTok, I think, is dope.
Listen, I appreciate it. I appreciate you for being able to see that there's people out there looking for a shot. You are open-minded. You are. And, you know, I think that I can actually talk to you for 30, 45 more minutes.
I don't want
to take up too much of your time because I'm like coming up with more questions in my head. But, you know, guys, we got to hop off. Definitely check out the whole project, Songs with Friends. But 3 Little Words. That's a beautiful song, y'all. And y'all cannot miss that, okay, y'all? So please tell them how they can follow you more, get more of you.
So our name is LouisYork. Here's why. Chuck is from East St. Louis, and I'm from New York. That's how you remember it. So LouisYork. And you can find us at LouisYork Music.
Yeah. On
all social media. That's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, not OnlyFans.
Oh God, that's LouisYork After Dark situation right there. That's a whole different situation.
No OnlyFans, but if you don't support the music, we might have to
go that far.
Desperate times. But reach out to us, follow us, and the music's out now. It's also everywhere you can get your music too. Apple, Spotify, all the cool places that music is there. So support, please. We love y'all and we love to feel loved.
Well, y'all support LouisYork. He's an amazing man right here, Claude Kelly. Hopefully, we have Chuck one day with all y'all together.
Next time, Chuck will come back by himself and he'll give his testimony, and then we'll come back a third time.
That'd be good. Do it all together.
This is the first of a trilogy.
It's a trilogy.
You didn't know that? This is a trilogy.
I love it. So y'all stay tuned. We're gonna have it's a trilogy. Y'all. It's part 1. All right. You're locked into R&B Vibes M&A on 92Q.